Last 24 hours has been full of political activities within especially the ruling All Progressives Congress, and Mahmud Jega, a Rice News analyst, actually joins us tonight in the studio to actually discuss some of these issues. Mahmud, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Well, the Vice President has finally declared, but one wonders, how this plays out, looking at the politics of the APC, looking at Tinubu, his alleged godfather, and of course looking at him. How would this play out, and what does this really portend for the APC at this time?
Well, it had always been fairly clear that the Vice President was interested in running in this race. It took so long. Probably he was waiting for some cue from the President. We don't know. But it took so long. On the other hand, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu had been campaigning for long because he's not holding any government position, so he was really free and was running. But now the field is quite crowded in the APC, and it does not even look like all the candidates have emerged, because there are still some other aspirants that people think. For example, all the talk about the governor of the central bank. Possibly he also, if he is interested in the race, will have to join very soon, because the race is now quite crowded. So the APC is spoiled for choice. And not only that, if there are other candidates still lurking in the background, we will have to begin to see them very soon, because now there is no more hiding place. Everybody who is interested will have to jump
Plus,
in.
there's not a lot of time looking at INEC's timetable.
Yeah.
I would no longer ask if you were surprised, since you understood that this took a long time coming. It would be actually surprising to hear anybody say they were shocked this was coming. But let me ask you what you make of his speech, his declaration speech. When you look at it, he talked a lot about completing what has been done, about what has been started with this administration, the foundation, building on the foundation. How easy or difficult will it be for him to ride on the so-called, achievements of this administration? What do you think?
Since he is the sitting vice president, and he must be hoping for endorsement and support from the outgoing president at some stage. So he can only campaign on the basis of continuity. It has happened before. In 2007, when Umaru Yar'Adua was anointed by President Obasanjo, he campaigned on the basis of continuing with the reform agenda, even though it was very unpopular. People were saying, what do you want to continue? And it's the same thing now. Running on the legacy of this administration is very difficult, but there is no way the vice president can run away from it. The only thing is because he's very clever. By the time he started enumerating all the things he will do, some of it looks like running away from the current situation. But he had to say that he is building on the solid achievements and legacies of the present administration. He can't disown it. It will be fatal, especially at the level of the primaries. Maybe in the general election he may say something different if he is the candidate, but for now he really has to stick to the Buhari legacy.
Right, and of course, let's look at the fact that, what we would have thought was his godfather, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, today saying, I do not have a son who is old enough to actually vie for that office. Let's put that acrimony between both men. How does this really impact, the Southwest as a geopolitical zone as it concerns the politics of the ruling APC? Well,
many people have said this. It is not very nice that Professor Osinbajo has to run against Asiwaju Tinubu, because as far as we know, he has been his godfather for the last 20-something years in politics. But there are many people, I'm sure, who would advise the vice president that, look, you are a better candidate, you have more technocratic skill, and you have got all this experience having been vice president for 7 years, so it will be a disservice to the country if you don't offer yourself in the name of loyalty to a political godfather. I'm sure there are many people who will say that, and certainly from the point of view of the choice, it helps that, okay, we have somebody who is so solidly technocratic versus Asiwaju Tinubu, who is much more political and much more rooted in politics. The trouble is, from the point of view of running in the primaries, it looks like Asiwaju has a greater advantage. He has been running for long. He has got so many governors, southwest governors and several northern governors.
So you're saying he's built structures?
He has built structures. And of course, he is also more politically minded, you know, and exactly. But we will see.
Indeed. Well, in the space of 24 hours, we saw both men having meetings with governors. I don't know if it's too early to make conclusions from those meetings with the governors, but I really want to ask you about what this means, really. Amaka was limiting it to the southwest. But let's look at the clamor for the southern region. That's the southeast, the southwest, and the south-south. Already in the APC, we have about 6 southern aspirants. The vice president making it about the 6th person today. Is this a case of the more the merrier, or too many cooks spoil the broth? What do you think?
No, the more the merrier. The more the merrier. In the end, there can only be one candidate, and there are so many of them, and it is very good. It might not be possible for APC to arrive at a consensus presidential candidate like they did probably with the United officers. This time, probably they will have to allow a vote, either in direct primaries or in indirect primaries at a convention, and let the best person win.
Well, the best person, you know, I know you would say you're not a soothsayer, but we have to look at all, because if you look at your screen right now, we have a picture of all 6 that have actually declared their interest in the APC, talking about the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, former Governor of Abia State, who is also a Senator, Oju Zokalo, Governor of Ebonyi State, Dave Umahi. The list goes on and on, really. How would you say the Vice President really weighs going up against this career politicians, if you want to call them that?
You are right. Among all of them, he is the one who is least political. He is not really a politician like Amogo said in the report. He is solidly technocratic. But you know, that is also good, because many Nigerians will say what we need going forward now, given all our problems, is not really a career politician. It is a solid technocrat. He may gain from that. And what you said earlier about the governors are playing safe. You see, because the president has not come out to anoint any candidate like he did in the case of the election of party officers, the next most powerful bloc in the party are the governors. And everybody wants their support.
The beautiful bride.
They are the beautiful bride, although many of them are already committed. Many of them are already committed. Some of them you don't even have to ask, you know in which column they are lying. But for now they are playing, as you said, the beautiful bride. They went yesterday and saw the vice president before he declared, but they hurried this morning and went to
12 of them. 12 of them. They
all of them. So, but very soon they will have to stop the pretense and take sides.
Okay, so let's see what this means for the APC, because the party seems well put together now following that successful convention, with a lot of credence to the president's intervention. Do you see them going that way, and how long do you think that this well put together APC will last with the caliber of people we are seeing coming out?
Well, I agree with you, because of course the next convention, if it is a convention to choose a presidential candidate, you see much more is at stake than choosing party leaders. The good thing about it in the case of the APC is that most of the candidates are from the south. So that removes the regional contention, although unlike the governor of Kogi, they are unlike the PDP. So it reduces the room for acrimony.
But you have Yahaya Bello who says, you know, I have to have this. I'm the best.
Even though he's from the North Central, the same, you know,
region
zone where the chairman is
from. Well, you know, this
from.
kind of consensus is never 100%. In 1999, when PDP clearly zoned the ticket to the south, some northern candidates insisted on contesting, like the late Abakarimi insisted on contesting. And the party leaders thought it's safer to allow him, because if you try to stop him, he may go to court and quash the whole thing. So let him contest. It doesn't matter, because already there is a consensus among all the leaders apparently to have Obasanjo there. And the same thing is going to happen now. If the general feeling among the APC leaders is for a southern candidate, but the Yahaya Bello insists on contesting, well, you let him try his luck. If he wins, nobody can do anything about that, but we'll see.
Well, would you know that President Buhari is one who is in when it comes to consensus? We'll wait and see if he's able to pull that off as well when it comes to the presidential primaries. Mahmud Jega, I would have to say thank you so much for joining us tonight on the program.